Oh, yes, Daniel, how are you doing?
Hi, I'm doing great, Bilal. Thanks for having me. How are you?
Yeah, I'm totally fine. Thank you so much for asking. Now, I just want to let each and everyone, this is our second podcast, right?
Yeah, it is.
It is actually. Now, in this podcast, obviously, we can ask you some more questions, some more interesting for our viewers. So, are you ready?
Yeah, I'm ready.
All right, thank you so much. Now, first, my question for you in this podcast about the personal growth and deeper insight. And what's one lesson you have learned recently from the coaching meant that surprised even you?
Surprising me is how many guys are just programmed to go through life seeking validation and seeking approval from not just women, but just from other people. And I think a lot of it mostly comes from upbringing, especially if they grew up like me and didn't have a father or a masculine figure in their life. They're taught to be people pleasers. They're raised by the women in their lives who always want them to expect them to resolve the tension, and the men just always they're afraid of tension, and anytime there's some type of conflict, their immediate instinct is to solve it, because men by nature, we're problem solvers.
Correct.
So working with guys, I help them. It comes to prioritizing themselves. That doesn't mean being totally selfish and uncaring about other people's feelings. I have to be clear on that. But making yourself a priority and understanding that another person's issues, while you can talk it over with them, it's not your job to fix them. And so many guys who grew up like I did, they enter relationships where the other person has a lot of emotional trauma, and they're attracted to that person because they see it as an opportunity to work with them and to counsel them. And that's not what a healthy relationship is based on.
Mm.
So respect, I say, instead of approval, you should get to earn people's respect. And oddly enough, the way to do that is not to just be the nice guy people pleaser. Set boundaries, healthy boundaries, be firm in your values and what you believe in. And even though it may feel weird at first, that's how you repel the wrong people and you attract the right people. So for the many years, I thought I was the only one who felt like that. And then, now I'm talking with guys and I'm like, wow, so it's really something. We don't talk about it a lot, but so many men feel that way and unconsciously go through life that way. So that's why I'm working to bring awareness to that and spread that message.
Impeccable. Now, how do you cultural or societal, expectation affects men's, confidence in dating?
What did you say? How did coaching affect men's
Yeah,
confidence?
yeah, exactly.
Oh, well, my coaching, it's
No, no,
very, you have to get,
sorry, but I just want to repeat my question is how do cultural expectations, affects men's confidence in dating?
oh, cultural expectations. Okay,
Yeah.
I'm sorry. Yeah. So cultural, yeah. Well, especially, I mean, at least where I live in the United States, men are held to very high standards. There's all this content on the internet about the alpha male. I have to put that in quotes because some of it I agree with, some of it I think is really exaggerated, where it teaches men that, well, in order to get a woman, you got to be 6 feet tall, which we really have no control over that to begin with. You have to have a six-figure job. You have to have a lot of money, be a big shot business owner. You have to be extremely popular and have lots of friends. You just have to be the Superman in
Mm.
effect. And I know when I started listening to that dating advice, that was the very first dating advice I ever absorbed. And I tried my best to follow it. And then I realized, like, it's not possible for me to be that. I don't have as many hours in the day to have all these experiences, to meet these many people. And now I know my worth is going to be judged on that. How am I going to get through life like this? So that really just, it took a toll on my confidence. So that is something. Unreasonable expectations, I think, are hindering men's confidence. It's giving them a false idol to observe, a false idolization, a false narrative to live up to.
Mm.
So, and again, it's something that's not talked about. Men's mental health is just not as open. Men are afraid to be vulnerable about it. So that's why I've started this business to help them be able to open up to me and know that not only is it okay to let those feelings out, that you're not perfect and you have all these imperfections, but it's actually bad to keep them in. You're
Mm.
doing more harm by holding in that toxic shame. A lot of it has
Yeah,
to come overcoming that macho-ness, like that men always have to be tough and stoic.
correct.
So there's a way to do that without becoming, crying all the time or being an emotional milksop. That's not the answer either. There is a middle ground to be that middle of the ground strong man. So that's what I'm helping guys do.
And you were talking about like expectation of the females, about the the income level and something like that. So I can also put in that thing like there is something which we can't neglect. That's now modern dating challenges. So I have a question like how should men deal with ghosting and why does it affect their self-worth so much?
Well, for men who hold toxic shame, like I did growing up, they
Hmm.
view ghosting as a reflection of their self-worth. They
Hmm.
see it as evidence of, oh, you see, this woman's not answering my message. She doesn't want to go on a date with me. That just proves that I'm unattractive, that I'm too short, or that I'm weird or awkward. That's evidence right there. And the girl I was talking to last week did the same thing. She never answered me. So that's even more evidence. And there was women back in high school, the cheerleader that wouldn't go to prom with me. She
Hmm.
did the same thing. She told me she wasn't going to prom, and then she showed up with the quarterback of the football team. See, more evidence, evidence upon evidence upon evidence. So, and it's all just in your head. It's our mind is just distorted to fit that bias. I think that's called confirmation
Yeah.
bias in psychology. So don't get me wrong. Every now and then a rejection or a ghosting could be because of something men do. And I think if there's somebody that has some sort of void in their life that they're using chasing women to fill. And when a woman pulls back to test them to see how they emotionally react and they lose it, they lose their patience and they blow up her phone, they're only pushing her further away. So, of course, women do that to just, it's in their biological nature to test to see if you're emotionally grounded. And many guys aren't. And it doesn't mean that they're bad people. It doesn't mean that they're weird. So even if the woman is turned off by it, you got to put it into perspective of what it says. That's her interpretation of you. She doesn't
Yeah.
know you. She just met you. Nobody knows yourself better than you. So you have to ask yourself, okay, what does this say about me and how I act?
Hmm.
What are the steps I can take to change my thinking and to fill this void? What is the reason behind this anxiety? You're essentially conquering a monster that's been held up in your heart or in your chest for probably many years. And it could be scary, it could be emotional. So it's good to
Correct.
have somebody in the corner for that, like me.
And it's always to say no to the, woman, which we believe in, being a man. So how men set healthy boundaries without coming across as cold or unavailable?
Well, for the challenge that I've always experienced in my dating life and that a lot of guys come to me with are when it comes to setting dates. When you initially meet a woman, that's like I mentioned before, women test us for our emotional strength.
Hmm.
In the same way, we have to test her for her level of interest.
Hmm.
So when it comes to scheduling a date, I feel also we kind of live in a world where it's very wishy-washy. It's hard to make solid plans with people. People have a million things going on every minute. Regardless, if you want to plan a date with this person, you say, hey, why don't would you like to join me Friday evening for some drinks or Friday evening for some mini golfing? And she gives an indefinite response to the effect of, well, I may have something to do. I'll let you know later in the week. Look, it's perfectly fine if she'd rather do something else, but she's probably not going to come right out and say, no, I don't really want to go. So a healthy way to respond to that would be, well, listen, my schedule is really busy. So I'd appreciate it if you can let me know if you can make it Friday, or if not, let's plan for another day. What's your schedule like? Her
Hmm.
answer will tell you everything you need to know. If she says, oh, okay, well, I can't do Friday, I could do Saturday instead. That shows that she has a good level of interest. She wants to at least give it a shot with you. She's open to going out with you. If she says something like, all right, I got to check my schedule and get back to you, shows low interest. So again, setting those boundaries, it doesn't mean you have to be so full forth and say, I don't like that you do this and that. You don't have to be that forceful with it at
Hmm.
this early courtship, but it's essentially a test. You're setting boundaries with yourself. You're telling myself, you're analyzing. It's very analytical, oddly enough, even though
Correct.
it doesn't work. But this analytic, you say you're acknowledging her behavior. Does it coincide with what I'm looking to have reciprocated from a woman? And if not, you just kind of wish her well and move on.
Yeah.
So when you approach it with that analytical mindset in this regard, that actually does help you because you're taking the emotion out of it. You're treating it as a science experiment. That's what
Yeah.
I that helped me overcome the negative thoughts I used to have around that type of behavior.
So it's always to give space to those women who actually want and don't push them. That's just pull them out. So obviously you're an experienced person in this business coaching. So let's talk about the philosophy, behind women being drawn to confident man. Like, what do you say about it?
Well, women and women are aware of this. It's part of feminine nature that they are chaotic. That their emotions are up and down. Their
Hmm.
feelings can change in a
Mood
minute.
swings.
They have mood, yeah, mood
Yeah.
swing. Like they're just their emotions change. They aren't usually that solid and grounded. So they
Hmm.
do rely on the man to be solid and grounded. And most importantly, they rely on him not to be affected by her behavior, by her changing behavior. So when women do those type of things where they're hot and cold, people call it playing hard to get or playing games. I mean, I don't like to look at it in those terms because it makes it sound manipulative. Women are biologically wired to do this. They don't do it with malice. They don't do it to trip us up or to trap us in any way. It's just they are looking for that man who is emotionally grounded.
Hmm.
That's why when it comes to scheduling dates, they usually end up pulling away, or things may be going very well and then they're just not as available as they used to be. And that can affect the man on an emotional level. So setting those boundaries and realizing what you're looking for, again, it goes back to analyzing the situation analytically in that moment. And you could tell her at that point, I notice you're not available. I just want to know, are you still open to going out? If not, just let me know either way.
Hmm.
So I used to tell people that if I feel like she's pulling away or she's no longer interested, I like to get a firm rejection rather than an indirect rejection. So, and it's not about confronting her or being overpowering or trying to assert your dominance. It's literally just, again, setting that boundary.
Yeah.
But yeah,
So
that's where the strength comes in.
correct. All right. Thank you so much for it. And obviously, let's talk about the emotional intelligence, like how much it is important while dating, and also what's the difference between chasing while leading in dating.
Amazing. Well, yeah, emotional intelligence, it really starts with the self.
Hmm.
You have to be able to acknowledge your own emotions and understand how to respond to them rather than react to them. So I think it's very important because men are taught to bottle that up. I know, I was when I was young. So uh, realizing how certain instances make you feel, how a woman's actions are making you feel, and why is that feeling there? What do you think it says about you? And then destructing that really enhances a man's emotional intelligence and then benefits them in the dating process. Because once you can read your own emotions a lot better, you can read other women's emotions much better when it comes to interactions in person or over the phone, or when it comes to scheduling dates and getting together or talking about where things are going moving forward. That emotional intelligence will help you
Hmm.
gauge where it stands. It helps you pay attention also more to her actions than her words.
Hmm.
And this is the thing against women. We men do this too. So we often say a lot of things we
Correct.
don't really mean. So, as me now, as I'm getting older, I pay a lot more attention to people's actions than their words. So emotional intelligence really does help with that.
Yeah.
It just helps and realize it helps them project where this is going and how they can respond in a respectful way that serves themselves and helps keep things calm. I think your second question was about chasing.
Correct.
Well, a man is in charge of leading. Women do want men to be the leader as far as extending the invitations, making the plans. You're opening the door for her and giving her the option to follow. If
Okay.
she seems hesitant to step foot in that door, chasing would be to drag her in there or to
Hmm.
try to entice her in with something. Whereas I always make the comparison between pursuing and chasing.
Hmm.
Chasing, you can only chase someone away from you. You can't chase them towards you. So when you open that door for a woman, and like we said before, if she seems hesitant to follow, you can leave the door open for a little while. Say, okay, well, when you make up your mind, let me know.
Hmm.
And really it's just opening that door. And women will test for that often. So
Okay.
it's not going to affect your life at the end,
Hmm.
whether she's in or not. It's not going to affect your life in a negative way.
Okay. Now, how do you help, men, uh, they can break free from toxic, relationship patterns or unhealthy, partners? Like how you can help them out, if you want to start from very beginning.
From the begin, to look out for red flags.
Correct.
Uh, I would say for the most part, when you're when you're early in the courtship with dating with the woman, when you pay attention to how she responds to setting dates, how she responds to communication. If she's someone that I had this incident a while back where a woman wanted me to call her every day. She likes when a guy called her, and one day I think I got really busy. I just texted her instead. I said, I hope you're doing well. And she flipped out that I hadn't called her and ended up like sending me a nasty text message and blocking my number. I was like, okay, clearly some drama there, something I don't want to become involved
Okay.
with. So setting boundaries with communication, because we live in a very busy world where it's not, yes, you should keep communication, here and there, but it's not, shouldn't be ongoing. And you shouldn't be putting your life on hold just to talk to somebody. If it feels like a chore, that's not appropriate. And then also
Mhm.
this doesn't come out too early in the dating process, but when it comes to somebody who is blaming, I don't know if we want to go into the level of like narcissists, but somebody who always makes you feel bad for doing something. Anytime they feeling a negative way, they associate it with you at some point, or they say you didn't respond in an appropriate way, or they say they're feeling a certain way because of you. That's a sign that this person just has a hard
Yeah.
time responsibility for their own life.
Obviously, you are doing a lot of work on this type of coaching, which others not, and I really appreciate it. So, what do you believe dating and relationship will look like in the next decade?
Oh, I mean, with AI coming about, I saw a thing about AI girlfriends recently that men can type on Amazon. That scared me. I hope we don't get to that level, but that's just going to make things so much worse. I
Yeah,
think now, again, technology is a double-edged sword, I believe.
correct.
Great for business, but I think I think we talked about this last time. It's making men less
Yes,
likely to pursue women in person.
yes.
I mean, I'm trying to be optimistic and say things are going to get better as far as people meeting and connecting on an emotional level. For sure we're going to have challenges. The dating apps are probably going to become even multiply in numbers. The tension is going to grow.
Yeah.
Although in 10 years, I think we may hit a lull with that. I feel it's almost going to be like the economy. Like the economy, somebody told me once the economy never stays the same for a 10-year period. It's good, then it's bad, then it's good, stable again.
Yeah.
In 10 years, I think we may have come full circle to where we overcome this like tension. We may have to have this, men and women have this emotional war that they seem to be having
Mm.
where they're so divided and pointing the fingers on like men should be doing this and women need to be better at that and this, that, and the other. I think we'll come full circle and be at a place where we can unite and connect a little better. And I
Yeah,
definitely want to be a part of that. And I want to collaborate with other people who have similar missions. So who knows? A
definitely.
lot can happen in 10 years and a lot could happen in much shorter time than that. So we'll see. But that's what I'm hopeful for.
Yeah, definitely. And we also got a one person from Australia doing same kind of thing, and might be possible we will invite in the third podcast, with you. Okay. So,
Cool.
obviously, yeah, exactly. So how does man empowerment, like, let's talk about the contribution of man, to become healthier relationship for both, for both of, them, like for the men and women. How does this, yeah.
Healthier relationships. Well, one thing, it's not to be too codependent and too needy with the other person. With a lot of the content online, and not just content on dating, but when you look at like movies, television shows, music, I would say more than 50% of it is based on relationships and sex, and telling men that if you don't have this, if you're not having sex all the time, if you're not with a woman at any given time, something's wrong with you. You're not being a real man. You're not living up to this standard.
Yeah.
And on top of that, a lot of like, not that I'm big into rom-coms, I've seen a few in my day, but romantic comedies, romance movies often portray men doing that chasing that we were just talking about. Women have taken on the masculine role, the stoic masculine role, and men seem to be these clumsy, needy chasers who kind of harass the woman and stalk her
Yeah.
throughout the whole movie. And then at the end of it, she says, okay, well, he's bothered me so much. I guess he must be the one. I'll get together with him. And they live happily ever after. May look romantic in the movies. That's just not how it works in real life. So it's giving
Yes.
them the wrong role model, the wrong thing to model their relationships after. It does not create healthy dating or healthy relationships. So destructing those media myths, getting guys more in touch with their inner self and what they want out of life, to be more active rather than passive about consuming content, because self-help and dating advice is a sea you can easily drown in. It's good to take advice here and there, but you don't want to just become a self-help junkie, because that ironically can take a toll on your mental health because you hear so much conflicting information. So yeah,
Yeah.
learning how to lead in relationships the proper way, the masculine way, is the biggest way men can be empowered.
Yeah, I totally understand that. And your, lines are really, really impactful, by the way. If a man listening today feels completely hopeless in dating, what's the one action he should take right after this podcast?
Well, I mean, it's hard to sum it up in one. I can sum it up in one thing,
Yeah,
but basically, top of all we've talked about as far as setting boundaries and developing that confidence, it's something that is hard to do on for the average man on his own. So I would encourage him to check out my website, empowermentcoaching.com. I do have a free ebook on there, Strategies for Entrepreneurs, High Performing Men. It's 5 strategies to improve your dating life. It's a very short, maybe about 5-page book or so. It's an easy, quick read, but it gives some valuable insights. And it's a good guide to open up your mind to a new process of dating. And if I would encourage one-on-one support. If that's something you think you could benefit from, I would encourage you booking a call with me through my link there.
yeah, definitely,
That
definitely.
would help level is the most beneficial.
Yeah, obviously, one session is much more better than doing something besides that. So Daniel, in the last podcast we did talk about about the dating apps and something like that. Now in this podcast we get a lot of interesting pictures about the ghostings apps and boundaries and the men empowerment. So it's really enjoying till up up till now related to these stories. So obviously one last motivational advice or future vision you would like to give to your audience in this second podcast, so you can share with us.
A few, like something that the men could look forward to as far as becoming empowered. Is that what you're asking?
Yeah, I'm just asking you like a any future vision or motivational advice you would like to give them, anything.
Motivation, well, I would say the biggest one, and I want to hit at the men's hearts here, is that look, you're not perfect. I'm not perfect. None of us are. Stop thinking that you have to be. While I'm all about self-improvement, no matter how much self-improvement you do, you're not going to be perfect. But those imperfections are, ironically, many of them do make you more attractive to women.
Hmm.
They open up that side of you. And guys, it's very hard for them to let that out, and that saddens me. So that's the message I want to give. And if you want to check out my YouTube channel, I have some videos on there about that. On my website, I have some blog posts. Might give you a little doses of information that could be helpful. And again, please reach out to me if you'd like some one-on-one coaching. But yeah, don't try to be perfect, if I had to sum it up in short.
That's for sure. And we make it sure that in the next meeting, we can go live on YouTube most, okay? And obviously, we have your videos, which always, we let them know that just reach him out personally or book an appointment with Daniel. And if you would like to ask any personal questions, like same like me, like whatever I have in my mind, like I did ask from Daniel. So you can also ask from Daniel as well. Then it was again a delightful meeting with you, delightful podcast once again, and
Like,
really, really appreciating your time and your words as well.
appreciate that, Bilal. Likewise. Thank you for having me on. I'm very happy to spread my message to anyone who needs to hear it or wants to hear it.
That's for sure, and we can make it possible to do, a podcast like we also got some, people. They're saying like we need inspirational, videos from Dan. So kindly just ask him to do a podcast or videos 2 or 3, in a week. So would that be possible for you?
Yeah, you want me to create like a two videos a week? I could do that.
Yeah, you can create 2 videos or 3 videos in a week, and also, podcasts as well. Like, we would like you to push you, out of your busy, schedule, just to one or two, make it 2 podcasts in a 1 week. So people will get more engaged and getting more awareness about you, and they are getting, help out from you, right?
Oh, beautiful. Okay, yeah, I'm definitely happy to do that. I want to help guys as much as I can. That's become my mission.
Here we go. Thank you so much again for your time. It's been lovely talking with you. Stay blessed and keep shining.
You as well. Thank you, Bilal.
Thank
Have a
you.
good one.
Bye for now.
Goodbye.